you doing there, folks? Baiters here with another Top 10. Today we're going to look at the Top 10 rare weapon mods for Fallout 4. A lot of these mods have less than 10,000 downloads, which means most people just don't know how scrumptious they is. Now if you're playing on Xbox, be sure to keep your gooey vision balls on the lookout for this dirt squirrel, as that's an indicator that the mod featured is available on your console. Remember, if you like this video, to beat that like button. Beat it like a gorilla beats its meat. I mean, really get in there. Make Todd the cameraman question what went wrong in his life that he's filming gorillas servicing themselves in the jungle for $12 an hour, you know? Now go ahead and cover your nipples in marinara sauce, and let's get to average baiting, baby! At number 10, we've got the Flamethrower by EV Now this mod adds a classic style flamethrower and flamethrower backpack to Fallout 4. Now the flamethrower got its name from the fact that it throws flames. The guy who came up with the names obviously had the day off, so Gary, the fill-in, just named it after what it does. Hence why he's the fill-in and not the full-time name guy. You know, honestly, he just lacks the creativity to really hold down a full-time naming gig. Despite the fact that the flamethrower has a one-dimensional name, it's still terrifying. The mod author did a great job recreating a classic-style flamethrower for Fallout 4. It looks realistic and immersive in the game, and it creates a great alternative to the vanilla flamer. Put it this way, if someone was wearing one of these things in the forest on a dry day in August, Smokey the Bear would have a panic attack. This mod adds a new heavy weapon, the M2 Flamethrower, to Fallout 4. This weapon has all its own custom animations, meshes, textures, and even level-less integration to fully immerse it into the world space. There's also a little bit of lore about this flamethrower in the game. Apparently, the M2 Flamethrower was a man-portable backpack flamethrower manufactured by Poseidon Energy. Now, the majority of them were scrapped when they were declared obsolete and replaced by the Heavy Flamer. Though some M2s were still sold off to civilians, it can now be found in the hands of gunners. There's also two unique variants of this weapon in the game, one that can be found in Vault 81, and one that can be found in Saugus Ironworks. Now the standard weapon can be crafted at the chemistry station, or bought at vendors, or found on gunners. Now this weapon mod also has a few customization options as well, which is really nice. This is an excellent mod that's ultra realistic and just an awesome addition to anyone's playthrough of the game. I rate this mod the face you make when you hear a strange noise coming from the basement. Shh, 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 shh. It's okay, it's okay. It's probably just a murderer. At number 9, we've got the Remington New Army Revolver by ZGA Butterman. Now, there are a fair share of classic revolvers on the Nexus, so what makes this a rare weapon mod, you might be wondering? Well, unlike all the other revolvers on the Nexus, this one's got its own custom animations. I mean, it's got custom meshes and textures as well, and a design that would give Wyatt Earp a wet penis. But the real hero here is those sweet, sweet animations. Reloading this weapon is exhilarating. 1 second you're out of bullets, the next you're pulling and prodding at different parts of this thing like it's the puzzle key to the lost city of Atlantis, and before you know it, you've reloaded your ammunition, you're gasping for air, and you've got a boner that's really hard to explain away. It's just a real treat. Now this mod either replaces the Western Revolver from Nuka World with the Remington New Army Revolver, or you can add it as a standalone revolver in the game. This revolver has all its own custom sounds, textures, meshes, and animations, all of which are expertly done and just look incredible in the game. There is no question that if you use this weapon to replace the Western Revolver, then you will not regret it. Now if you want to acquire this weapon, you can find it on gunners or at vendors at or above level 30, as it has been added to the respective level list. Now this weapon also has a few customization options, not a lot, but enough to give it a personal touch in the game. This is definitely a great addition to anyone's playthrough of the game. I rate this mod one dog that wandered into the wrong park.
You eyeball in my pond, huh? No, not at all. You better not be eyeballing my pond!
At number 8, we've got the Viking Sword by Billy Rowe. Now what's better than a knife, but not as good as a gun? The answer is a sword, and not just any sword. No, in this case, it's a Viking sword. Why, you might be wondering? Well, because I saw it on the Nexus and it looked really cool. Long story short, I downloaded it, and I've been running amok with it ever since. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about Vikings, they're known for doing a bunch of Viking shit, okay? Their history is just riddled with them doing Viking shit. And you know what helped them do all that Viking shit? Viking swords, just like this one. Yeah, I know. Didn't think you were going to get a history lesson, did you? Now this mod adds a new sword that is based loosely on Fable Blade's Yggdrasil sword. It also has both one-handed and two-handed variants, in case you want to put more or less hands on it while you flail it around in the game. And if that doesn't get you all excited, it also has its own custom meshes and textures, which make it look very convincing in the world space. Now if you want to get your very own Viking sword in Fallout 4, then just saunter on over to the chemistry workbench. There you'll be able to cook up one of your very own. No problemo. Now this sword can be upgraded in any one of the weapons workbenches to give it a little more cushion for the pushin', if you know what I mean. Now this sword is an excellent addition to the game that's just a ton of fun. I rate this mod one dog that's wondering what's happening above him. Look! It's a bird! It's a plane! Nope, someone's pissing on my face. At number 7, we've got the Wildly Survivor BiteTactical. Now this mod adds a fat, girthy penis of a pistol to the game, with all its own custom animations, meshes, and textures. In many ways, this pistol reminds me of an angry penis. Just the way it jumps up every time you pull the trigger, all aggressive-like. Honestly, 4 out of 5 dentists say this gun will drop a motherfucker in one shot. This weapon has all its own custom animations and sounds to really bring it to life in the game. Now, the animations look awesome on this weapon and really make you feel like you're handling a lot of pistol every time you squeeze off a few lead babies. It's also got a fat fucking laser beam you can put on it that really ramps up your street cred. Nothing says I'm gonna blow your head off better than a chubby red dot on a confused stranger's sobbing face. Everything about this weapon screams stocking stuffer at Chuck Norris's house, doesn't it? It's small enough to be from Santa, but it's powerful enough to blow a hole in Rudolph and all the other fucking reindeer. It's the perfect gift. Now, the Wildly Survivor was designed by Wildy J. Moore in 1973 and entered full-scale production in 1980. At the time, it was the most powerful auto-loading handgun in the world, and in fact still holds the title, possessing about 25% more muzzle energy than its closest rival, the Desert Eagle .50. It was also the first commercially successful gas-operated handgun in the world, entering production 2 years before the Desert Eagle. Yeah, this thing's a whole lot of fucking pistol. Now, the Wildy is famous for its use as Charles Bronson's sidearm in the 1985 film Death Wish 3. The screen-used firearm was Bronson's personal gun. And it was films like that that helped the Wildly steal the hearts and imaginations of the American people. The Wildly Survivor is still in production. Manufacturer of the gun has changed hands several times over the years, and the Wildly is currently being produced in limited numbers by USA Firearm Corporations. But what this weapon is really known for is making me wet in the panties every time I pull it out in Fallout 4. This weapon also has its fair share of customization options in the game to really spruce up its resume. It's got 13 receivers, 4 barrels, 6 grips, 3 sights, 2 finishes, and 1 muzzle brake. It's also level-less integrated, so if you want one, then look no further than the nearest dead enemy or vendor you come across, as they'll have a chance of spawning one. This is an excellent addition to the game, and one of the most powerful pistols I've ever fucking seen. I rate this mod that moment when somebody drops the N-bomb when they think nobody's listening. The f*** did you say? Nothing. At number 6, we've got Zombie Slayer by John Connor. Now, sometimes you come across a weapon and think, what in the hairy man peaches is that thing? This is one of those times. Shish kebab not enough for you, man? Maybe you feel you need something that would make Jason Voorhees nut in his skinny jeans? Well, you've come to the right place, because the Zombie Slayer is bigger, bolder, and hotter than any other melee weapon you've ever seen. It's got an unnecessarily long and girthy blade that's both sharp and terrifying. It's also got like a bunch of wires and gadgets protruding out all over the place that generate a constant flow of steamy hot flames. This mod adds one of the biggest, meanest looking swords to Fallout 4. Now, the weapon itself has all its own custom textures and meshes, and just looks incredible in the world space. Even though this is one of the most extreme looking weapons I've seen, the mod author still did an awesome job making it feel like it came directly from the Fallout universe. It just looks and feels immersive in the game. There are actually 2 variants of this weapon in the game. There's the Zombie Slayer, which I gotta say is the tits, and there's the Butcher, which is like a much more conservative variant of the Zombie Slayer. Now, these weapons can be crafted at the chemistry station under Wasteland Slayer. This is an awesome addition to the game, and something that you're sure to have a lot of fun with. I rate this mod that moment when you find out your cat's been having an affair with somebody else.
Is it true? Is it?
At number 5, we've got the YK-42B Pulse Rifle by 3Nick A. This definitely isn't the type of weapon you'd see at Shelly's backyard bake sale now, is it? This weapon looks and feels advanced. Not like Alien advanced, but like newest iPhone advanced, you know? In order for this weapon to fire, you'll have to crank it up like you're jerking off a Jack-in-the-Box. I mean, you really have to go ham sandwich on that lever. Now, this weapon is actually a recreation of a previous Fallout weapon, and the mod author did a splendid job recreating it for Fallout 4. It's immersive, realistic, fits with the game perfectly, and it kinda looks like a kinky butt plug, which is scary for different reasons. Now, when I was a wee little toddler, I always dreamed of obliterating something with an energy-infused, plug-shaped pulse rifle. Some kids want to be firefighters. I wanted to blow shit up with sex toy-shaped objects. And thanks to this mod author, and Jesus, that dream's come true. Now, this mod adds a classic pulse rifle to the game. Created on the basis of animations of the laser musket, this is a real beauty in the game. Now, if you want to acquire this weapon, then one can be found in the boxing gym on one of the Brotherhood deserters. This weapon also has a few customization options to switch it up and, really change it in the game. This is an excellent mod that looks perfect in the world space, and definitely an excellent addition to anyone's playthrough of the game. I rate this mod one horse who overheard his owners talking about taking a trip to the glue factory. Alright, it's time for me to get the f out of here. At number 4, we've got Elst Rainbow by GYJH4862, or Jill for short. A wise man once told me, don't underestimate the simple things. Just as he got tackled by police officers for flashing his penis at everyone on the elevator. Wise words from a crazy exhibitionist, but wise words nonetheless. Which makes sense because one of the best weapon mods I've ever seen is as simple as a bow and arrow in Fallout 4. Now, this mod adds 3 types of archery bows to the game, along with a multitude of new arrows to arm them. The 3 types of bows all look amazing in the game and are expertly crafted to fit the world space. There is a wooden bow that just seems like a typical bow anyone could make with an old log and a can-do attitude. The other 2 bows are way more advanced though. They've got metal and gadgets and strings and shit coming and going in ways that'll make your butt cheek pucker right up, you know? There are also a bunch of different arrow types, from your ordinary stone arrowheads to fire arrows to explosive arrows. There's even nuclear arrows for those real hard to reach places, you know? There's pretty much an arrow here for any kind of shenanigans or tomfoolery you want to get yourself up to. Now, this mod is excellently done in every way possible. It has all its own custom textures, meshes, and even animations, all of which make these weapons a very believable addition to the game. Now, if you want to acquire these weapons, then they can be crafted at the chemistry station, along with their arrows, as long as you have the necessary supplies to do so. Now, this is an excellent mod that's sure to improve anyone's playthrough of the game. I rate this mod 1 photo of any person 3 days in to any diet.
Get that f***ing carrot out of my face.
At number 3, we've got Real Throwing Weapons by Monkey Spunk. Yeah, sure, there are a lot of other throwing weapon mods on the Nexus, but how many of them give you the option to throw a shoe? One, just one. This jelly bean sucker right here is the only one that lets you throw a size 7 at somebody's brain in the game. Hey! What the fuck? Yeah, there are other sweet throwables, sure, like knives, cleavers, the odd fork, but the real bread and butter that gets the kids all worked up before bed is jamming a stiletto in a Raider's eye goo. Okay, I personally love throwing things. It might be a defense mechanism, I'm not sure, but I've been doing it as long as I can remember. Skipping stones at the beach, baseball in the backyard, throwing rocks at girls I like because I had all them bottled up feelings. You know, the usual. I mean, I don't throw rocks at girls anymore because I realized that if you throw a rock that's a little bit too big, they can lose consciousness and it's a little touch and go from there. But I don't do that anymore, okay? That was last week. And according to the doctors, she's gonna pull through. Now, when I was a kid and every time something would leave my tiny stubby little fingers, I always thought, boy, that's gonna hurt somebody. And you know what? It did. It always did. And that's the moral of the story here. Hurling things at your enemies is a great way to hurt your enemies. Obviously. This mod adds 30 new weapons, workshop targets, and new sound effects including tomahawks, shurikens, harpoons, shoes, fidget spinners, thunder sticks, and so much more to Fallout 4. Now, this mod also includes integrated crosshairs and slow-mo aiming, which actually makes these throwables useful medium-range weapons in combat. Now, if you want to acquire these slippery projectiles, then they can be crafted at the chemistry station as long as you got the right supplies. Now, this is a great mod that's sure to spice up the combat, in anyone's playthrough of Fallout 4. I rate this mod one guy who just came back from dumpster diving.
Hey, Ma! I got new jeans!
At number 2, we've got the lever shotgun by Gage Storm. Sometimes people ask me, Baiters, what's the best weapon in Fallout 4? And do you know what I say to them? I say,
Me no speak any English.
moral of the story here is I'm not great with questions. But this lever-action shotgun is a real prom princess, if I do say so myself. Unlike other shotguns that need to be pumped after every round like they're being molested, this shotgun uses a lever which looks and feels far less sexually intrusive. It respects the no means no boundaries, and really plays to its strengths, which in this case is firing tiny little beads at supersonic speeds. Seeing this thing reload in third person makes me man-squirt from my vision balls. It's just poetic, you know? Really shakes the tree of my sensitivity towards weapon mods and their reload animations, you know? Now this mod adds a scratch-made lever shotgun to the game, complete with plenty of customization options for all of your adventures. I mean, the choice is yours to mix and match parts here that don't even go together. Yeah, ranging from trench, sweeping with buckshots, burning victims with dragon breath, or even loading up slugs with your very own slug saddle silencer and scope, taking out some chodas from a distance with this nutcracker. Oh yeah. This thing's got some scrumptious customization options with a little something for everyone. There are 5 receivers, 4 barrel options, 3 stock options, 5 damage modifiers, and many other attachments to choose from. Now if you want to acquire this weapon, you can get your very own by crafting it at the chemistry station. Easy peasy, penis squeezy. I rate this mod that moment your pet gets back from the vet and realizes something's missing.
Oh no, something's different.
At number 1, we've got Mass 38 by BiteTactical. This mod adds the French Mass 38 submachine gun to the Commonwealth, complete with custom meshes, textures, first and third person animations, sounds, and level list integration. For those of you guys who are unaware, the Mass 38 was France's first official submachine gun, adopted in 1938 after a prolonged development phase stretching back to the early 1920s. The guns were rushed into production in 1939 in anticipation of German aggression, and less than 1,000 were manufactured because a bunch of dudes were worried that Germany was gonna get up all in their giblets. Now, the Mass 38 was used both by the French forces and by Nazi Germany. Now, if you want to acquire this weapon in the game, they will start spawning on gunners and vendors at or above level 10 or higher. There is also a unique variant of this weapon that can be found in a secret area of Vault 81, next to Curie, surrounded by a bunch of cheese. This weapon also has a few customization options to keep things original depending on your playstyle. There are 16 receivers, 2 magazines, 3 sights, 2 barrels, 6 stocks, and 4 muzzle attachments to choose from. This weapon is like the long, skinny penis of submachine guns. It's not porn star material, but it's still really impressive. Like, it's hard to look away when this thing enters your periphery. I mean, look at it. It's like the Cinderella story of submachine guns, except Prince Charming is my fanny pack I keep all my guns in. It's totally cool, and it's probably gonna catch on. Fanny packs are like the new thing, okay? They were big in the 1980s, and they're coming back around. I rate this mod one photo of when a bear eyeballs your picnic basket, but you manage to pull a gun on him.
Easy, buddy, easy, easy. I'll just walk away, okay? It's your picnic. It's your picnic.
Thanks again for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to bitch slap that subscribe button like it's 3 weeks behind on your rent. Bitch! Where's the money, bitch? Where's the money? Where is it? Also, go ahead and hit that bell icon, too, because apparently YouTube thought there should be extra steps. Why not, right?
I'd like to subscribe, but first I have to click this and do this. Oh, it needs an email. All right, and this. Okay. Just tell me when he's uploading.
Once you do all that, if you're lucky, at the stroke of midnight, a tiny little Averagebaters fairy might come and tickle your butthole. Now, I hope to see you all again next time, and remember to keep on average baiting, baby.